I'm in a vineyard today. I'm at my friend's vineyard,
Well, that's all very,
tying down vines.
that's a lot more exotic than what I'm doing today.
It's good to get it. I have to get out of the office, otherwise I go nuts. I'm
Wow.
sure you understand.
Yeah, in person, it's like we're always doing something different.
That is
Yeah,
very
I,
funny. And
I actually enjoy doing it.
I like that we're doing it even though you're in the vineyard. I think
Yeah.
it's brilliant.
Well, that's what I
Really,
thought. It's
it's
like this is the life of like this is how it works. We've got
Yeah,
your side hustles and things going on,
yeah,
and
yeah. Just quickly in summary, jacket looks so good. So
how
good.
good.
Yep, yep. And
Jess, you've done an amazing job.
I
oh,
am jaded and I see a lot of them come through and there's something really special about that one. I really like
Yeah.
we actually planned a different shot, like a different
Yep.
you say we went to this place that had all these different sort of locations within the one location. So we shot like a bunch of different like outfits and spots within that place. And this wasn't planned, but then we got that. And it's like everyone's reacting to this photo. I think it's the one.
What was the brief? Anna, what did you say to Jess that you wanted for your cover?
I actually wanted to go, and we have done that in the artwork, but I wanted to go a bit more of a David Lynch, red velvet curtain kind of vibe. And yeah, we went to Django Bar, Camelot Lounge, where Amy V and I have performed before, done some shows, and I knew that they had a beautiful red velvet curtain on the stage. So I just wanted it to be, I don't know why, but I wanted that red velvet curtain. That was all I wanted. I also wanted it to be I always imagined the cover shot being fun as well because of the serious title being delusional. I didn't really want to have a serious look on my face. I always imagined that it would be fun, but I kind of just let go of that because I didn't want it to seem contrived or like that I'd posed for it. And that shot that we end up running with was just a fun one that we were thinking maybe be a great promo shot, but everyone who saw it just had this instant reaction to it. And I said to Jess, "Oh, I think this might be the cover shot. Everyone just is reacting to it in a way that's very powerful. So that's why we end up running with the particular shot that we went with."
That's interesting. I really like it.
Yeah,
Jess, what was your
yeah.
thinking as the photographer? What was it from your side?
It was really just like get in there and have fun and see what happens. Like just making sure, like I always want to make sure that we get at least what the artist envisions. So I think we did that with all the red stuff. But then it was actually the cover, that was the first spot that we found. And we're like, yeah, let's just get in there. And so much stuff in that. Yeah, it's like a Vinnie's store on steroids. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm always like, let's have fun. That's the first thing, because otherwise you don't get good shots. And then, yeah, just sort of roll with it, see what's there, muck around with what we see. And then we did some shots on the couch right where that photo is taken. And then I just saw this big amp. And I'm like, random amp doing? And I was like, just get on it. Yeah, she was just laughing and it was funny. And like,
I think I nearly fell off it. Isn't that where I'm laughing?
yeah, so it was a bit of a spontaneous
Mm.
that particular shot. So yeah, I'm always like, let's make sure we get what you want as the artist and what you envision, and then muck around almost because you sometimes
Mm.
it just happens like that where in the playing is where you find the best stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And I imagine it's a bit like with music as well, right? You just kind of
Yeah.
some of the best live gigs are the ones where the artist is clearly having just an awesome time. I mean, there's something, I don't know, it's like non-linear about it. It's kind of an explosion of happiness that just kind of works.
What's meant
Yeah,
to be. Yeah.
I was
yeah.
watching last night. I went on a bit of a rabbit trail of. I found this. It's 11-year-old girl that performs with her brother, and she's unreal. Like, and you just go, you are an artist. Like, she's not trying to do anything. She's not in that. Like, she's 11 and she's amazing, and she's just
Mm.
like you just go, shit. We lose so much of that when it's almost like because we're trying to cut through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look back at that, or I look at Teddy like playing, and you go, "That's the shit we lose as
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
like we're trying to
Being into
grow."
grown-ups.
Playfulness.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we go backwards in the trying too hard, I think.
Yep.
And I think that's why when we do play, we get the best work. Real, like she just wears whatever we're wearing. Like she doesn't care. She's 11. She just wants to play and sing, and you just go,
Mm.
"Damn," like that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Get like that.
And because I guess we've been doing this for a few years now, I see so many different kinds of artists come through, and there's something that happens that doesn't work. It's not based on algorithms or
Yeah.
brand building, or there's just some spark that people just sometimes walk in the door,
Mhm.
or you look at the photo, don't even have to meet them. I think, that photo that we're talking about is
Mhm.
probably one of them. And I suspect you'll find that people will resonate with it, because we don't want bland, flat people who are working on their brand image.
That's right.
They want real people doing real things, because everybody else is doing real things, and that's what music is, I think.
I feel like that's how the album sounds too. This was the first time I just been through so many different experiences making music, and for this one, I just went, I'm just gonna have fun with this, and we had a
Yep.
ball making this record.
Yeah.
We had a ball, and everything fell into place, and so I think it's very fitting that the cover image captures that essence, what we're talking about, that playfulness.
Yeah.
And I think the most that it sounded like you, because I've known you for like, it's our 12-year wedding anniversary this week. You sang it.
Yeah.
I think I'd met you a bit before that. So
Yeah,
like,
about 15 years, I think, almost.
and I think this is the most that it's really like you've just stepped into it and gone,
Yeah.
fuck, this
Yep.
is me.
Yep. I feel that too. Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Tell me, just as a kind of an update, where are you at with the audio now? Maybe I should know this.
Well, I sent it off.
Yep.
I've been talking with June.
Yep.
So you have my audio now. But that was actually a question I had for you today. What happens now? Now that you have my audio, what's the next step in
Yeah.
the vinyl process?
Yeah. So what we do, and June being the most efficient human on earth, will
So
have
good.
already. So what happens is we take the audio file with your cue sheet, send
Yep.
that across to the UK, where we use some what's called lacquer cutters, who
Right.
we think they're amongst the best in the world. So they take your digital audio file, and do a physical representation of it into lacquer,
How
which
cool.
it's actually out in the factory, but it looks like a big record, but it's on a soft. So basically they have what's called a lathe, which is looks like a souped up record player, but the lathe cuts the groove into the wax. You could play that, but you can only play it once because it's soft. It's actually where the term wax came from.
Right.
So the next step is we send that lacquer to a place called Stamper Disc, which is also in the UK. They, through a process of galvanics, grow a negative of the positive of the lacquer. Because if you can think about it, and you'll see it when you come into the factory, but you obviously we need the negative, so that
Right.
when the PVC is pressed, we get the
Right.
positive on your record.
Amazing.
Yeah, so then that goes in. So we get side A, side B. We will press you some test pressings, which we will send to you. So we usually you'll get a set of 4. We'll keep a set of 4. You listen to them, check them for things like, well, make sure that the songs are in the right order. That happens unbelievably common, that they're in the wrong.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that'd be my worst nightmare.
Yep. It happens a lot more than you'd think is possible. The other thing that tends to happen is artists. So when we check the test pressing, so we check the test pressings for pressing issues. So we make sure there's, it's quiet in the run-in, the run-out. We listen to the track break. So our responsibility is we make the pressing beautiful.
Right.
But what we can't do is listen to your music and tell you what it should sound like. And a lot of that comes down to, it's mostly, if there's a problem there, it's an issue in the mastering. Not always that it's been mastered wrong. It's just a communication between the artist and the masterer, who, the artist said, I want this thing. And the master heard, I want this thing. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And if at that test pressing stage the artist says that's not what I want it to sound like, the process starts to go again. It goes back, gets remastered. We do new lacquer and new stamper. Again, it doesn't happen often. It's really rare, but really important that artists love what they do. It's,
of course,
and they need to. It's vinyl is a big investment, so we spend a lot of time making sure that the artist is in love with it. So all being well, you would then go, yep, that's fine. Same time, we're getting all your jackets printed and your labels printed. So it all comes together at the same time, and we press it, sleeve it, and send it out to you, or sell it, or whatever we're doing with your particular project.
So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I'm really excited to come up and see how it all works.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it. I think
plant.
one of the things people like about it, and Jess, you and I have spoken about this, but that it's real. And when we first started the business, people were so used to digital everything that it was one of the heroes. That if there's a problem, they like with that, so say there was a problem with the chest press thing, they go, well, just, fix it and give it back to me. Like, well, we can, but, it's a real thing. It's like, it's not like going in and altering the code. And that's both a strength and a weakness, but I love it. And we often tell a story. We had a much loved Australian artist come in, who he came in, I think, to do some social media, just to film the pressing of it. And we said, hey, it was a double album, and we'd already pressed the AB the day before, and we pressed the CD when he was there. And we said, hey, do you want to come hear it on the thing, on our stereo? And we brought it in, and, Neil and I were chatting, we dropped the needle on, and we hear it, we hear a lot of music. And we turned around to him, and he was tearing up because it was the first time he'd heard it on vinyl, and it was
cool.
And I sort of tell that story because it represents, it's how artists feel about it, and it's why I love it when artists come in, because it kind of does that connection between your music and the physical thing. And
I think it's a beautiful way to connect the artist with the listener as well, because it's that tangible thing again, right? I mean, digital's great too and handy.
Yep.
But that ritual around creating music, creating art, and then the person experiencing that. So it's just a real tangible way to do that.
And I find that even when, on a Sunday morning, when you're looking to put on some music, you always put on the music with a story, or, I mean, obviously you don't know those super duper stars, but you feel like you know enough about them to know their story. And I think we're all just wired to want, to know people. To connect. Yeah.
Recently, just starting to listen to vinyl more is like the fact that you put it on and you go, and I'm used to going, Alexa, stop the music, like whatever. Or skip
that's right.
like I really, and you find you just listen to the album over and over.
Yeah.
Finish. And I think we've lost that, whereas you go, wow, songs that grow on you over time that you wouldn't know otherwise, because you just to like,
you couldn't be asked getting up to take the record off.
And that's how we grew up listening to music, though, right? That's how you end up listening to a record and knowing all the songs.
Yeah, exactly. All the words to all the songs.
That's right.
So on to kind of, I guess, practical things. Where's your jacket? Who's doing your jacket artwork? I think you told me.
So I've got a beautiful graphic artist here in the Hunter Valley. Kristen Jade is her name. So at the moment, she's working on all things art. For the record. So we're almost done. I think we'll be pretty close by the end of the week. I still haven't sat down yet and actually proofread everything. Yep. I'm so ADHD these days. I find it really hard to sit down for long enough to concentrate. So I might actually ask some friends and family to have a look at it for me.
That's my hot tip. Get more eyes on it.
Yeah.
Again, like the
it's not my strength.
Order. The number of times we get, and the other thing that people commonly forget is we get this panicked call, like just as we're sleeving them. Oh my God, I forgot to thank somebody.
Yeah, that's another worst nightmare of mine, because I've done that before. So Kristen and I are going to catch up for a margarita and some revisions on the artwork like this week sometime.
Great strategy. Yeah, I approve. And so you've had no problems with the templates and the artwork and all that kind of stuff? I don't know.
No. Well, we pressed with you guys a couple of years ago. And Kristen was working on that same project.
Yep.
So, second time around this time. But, we found it all very easy on the website, and June obviously has been looking after me as well. So, we're sorted.
Great. Yeah, excellent. And William's going to come on at some point?
Yeah, Will Bowden, he's done an amazing job mastering the record. He's keen to do a chat and tell us about mastering and the dark art. It's just trying to pin him down because he's like super duper busy at the moment.
Yep.
But hopefully I can just get him for like 10, 15 minutes this week.
I would love to add that into this because I think that's so...
Oh, my goodness. It'd be so great because it is one of those things where it is a dark art. Like, that's what he does and that's all he does. And people like him, they're just so valuable to this process, obviously, because you've got to have it specially mastered for vinyl, So
Yep.
yeah,
And
be good
I'd
to
be
pin him
really
down.
interested to hear what he has to say about how it's different. I sort of know it on a surface level. I know the things to say, but I would like to know more about it, actually.
Yeah, me too. Because we had two masters. He sent through one master, and then we end up tweaking it and going in a totally different direction. And for the first time ever, I've definitely heard how different a master can sound. Like
Yep.
it's completely different records from the
Yep.
first master to the second master. So yeah, I'd be keen to talk about it too, because it's just one of those unknown things, right?
Yeah. Let us know when you're ready to get it up on the site to get the.
I'm keen to get it pretty soon, actually.
Okay. Well, we
Yeah,
probably
because I've
only
had
need-
people ask me already.
As soon as you're ready, let's get it up and
Yep.
we'll get it out in the email and.
Yeah, I'll start sending that stuff through this week, and
Okay.
I think let's just get it up because I've had a few inquiries already.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's also get some reviews out as soon as we can. So traditionally we would, as soon as the test pressing has been approved.
Oh,
send it out.
yes. That'd be cool.
We got
All
a
right.
great review from Sarah from Super Jesus, did a review of the Gin Club.
Oh, that's so cool.
And again, it's just Sarah's one of those people who just bursts with
Yeah, great.
enthusiasm and generosity, and I think musicians can add a real level to it as well. Fans,
Absolutely.
everybody brings something different, but musicians can, I guess, get a feel as a, experts can talk about it as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So anyway, let's get moving on that. We're on track.
We are. I'm so excited, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all just beautifully coming together for this record. I'm just
Yeah.
so grateful. I'm just going for the ride now. I'm having fun, which is like, that's when you're in your flow state, right? I was thinking maybe the week that we come up, that's probably when I'll start trickling these just short edited videos out.
Yeah, it's like everyone's trying to crack a code, and it's like, just do it. Just get it out, upload video. Like, it doesn't matter. I think
figure out what works and do more of that. I think
for your
fans.
Because Anna has a very loyal audience that she's built for a number of years, and so it's like it's feeding those guys, and also I'm trying to get new guys. But you do want to definitely sort of reward and feed the guys that have had so many years. I think that's really important. I just think honestly, like, consistency is key that people can latch onto and go, like, oh, that journey, and that's it. Like, there's not really, just not a code. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it makes everyone really stressed trying to have something. Like, I've just seen it. Like, everyone's trying to do this, like, and it goes back to what we were saying before. Like, we lose the art form of like joy. Like, we just lose it in trying. So I think you're doing the best. I think it's awesome. Like, just make shit and put it out there.
I can do that.
All right. Well, I reckon that was great.
Yeah.
So we do it again next Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm down.
All right.